Greetings, friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here, and I've been busy. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I had to take a timeout, just to get you updated on my most recent build that's in progress right now. So this one here happens to be a walnut neck with the heel, and it's going to be paired with this tobacco box. The unique thing about this one here is this little circle right here. I opted to leave that because it would have been right where the sound hole goes, and it's like I could either have a sound hole or this cool little logo, so I just opted to put the sound holes in other places, right? So these tobacco boxes are awesome. Tobacco. They're thick walled, excellent for electric guitars, and this one is going to be an electric guitar. So I measured to make sure that the heel, now for the heel, there's no like rhyme or reason or right or wrong necessarily. I just like there to be just enough there to kind of, when you come up to the top there, you can kind of feel it. It's mainly for support. The reason being is because you are going to be taking out this material here. And that thickness of wood just alone would not be, in my opinion, would not be enough. You know, obviously you can do other things. You can screw it all into the top of the box and stuff like that. This really here is for two reasons. Number one, aesthetic. I like the look and feel of it, but it's also for strength. That heel right there, a nice little knot there. This little hole right here, as you know, is for the piezo, and then I notch this little guy out here so that when I put my hot glue and my piezo and then whatever piece of paper and smash it in place, it's perfectly flat. I also go for this little notch right here. Now that little notch, some people might not think it's important. You know, I personally, I've had a couple of problems when I didn't have the notch and there was some buzzing and rattling going on because the top of the box was coming in contact with that wood, and it was kind of creating kind of an annoying, irritating sound. So whenever I notch it like this, I don't know if I can hold it up here. If I hold it up, maybe you can see how that notch just does not come in contact with the underside of the cigar box itself. Now it does connect right underneath my finger right here, right next to this. It does connect there, and then obviously it connects right underneath the piezo because I want that piezo to be in contact with the saddle. So really the only contact point between the neck and the box is these 2 points right here, right underneath the saddle and right here. Of course, the box is reinforced in these 4 corners and then screwed in place. So everything is nice and snug once it's together. So I do have a switch here, a 3-way switch that's going to go between a humbucker that's going to go here. Here's the humbucker, and a piezo, which I haven't installed yet. It's going to go here. I wanted to show you this neck blank. The height, or the depth, I should say, of this trench right here, this little trough, has to correlate with the pickup, right? Because you want the strings to come across the top here at the right height, right? And not touch the strings, right? So what I do is I just measure. I actually put it on the side like this, and I take a look at it. Where's the strings going to go? Then I just mark a line and then notch it out. Pretty simple. This neck is, or not the neck, the fretboard is poplar. So and this one here is, my gosh, is it straight? Oh my gosh, that is one straight freaking neck. So right now I was going to get ready to do the fret position markers and the tuners and the frets. But I just wanted to take some time out real quick and just kind of show you kind of where I was at here. This little gimmick here, that's kind of looks like a, what do you call it? It looks like a truss rod cover, right? No, all it is just the blade, because I take a thin layer off the top of here. And that is just so that the tuners stick out the top. That's all it is. You could file it, you could do whatever you want, but what I do is I use the circular saw outside the table saw, right? And that's basically just the curvature of the blade. I just take it in flat, you know, just like, and I get this removed, and then I just leave a little bit there, and then of course sand it smooth. And again, that's just kind of a cool little thing I stumbled on one time, and I decided I'm gonna keep it, right? Of course, all the back has been carved, routed. I use the half round bit to route all these edges, and then the trusty Shinto to do all of the heavy lifting. This guy gets her done, dude. It's got a sharp side. Well, they're both sharp sides, but it has a coarse side and a fine side. So you can really, really, really just get this neck to any shape that you want. I like a little bit of beef. You know, I tried to go for the thin neck, and it's cool too. But I think for some reason the cigar box guitar kind of benefits from having just a little bit of a beefy-er neck. So I don't go too thin here. Just enough to kind of give it some definition. And then of course all the ends are rounded. So that's the update. That's where we're at now. Like I said, tonight I'm going to spend 45 minutes, and I am going to fret, position marker, and tuner this bad boy. All right. So I'll put y'all on time lapse. All right, on your marks, get set, go. $10 o'clock, I got 30 more minutes. So I installed these medium frets, and of course the jumbo fret for the nut, and then did solder burns for the position markers. I used the large solder burns for the lower octave and the smaller solder burns for the upper octave. And the only reason is because these are too fat, too thick to fit in this little space there. Plus I like the way it looks. It kind of gives it a little bit of dimension. I did want to mention a couple of things. Number one, I do get all of my parts from cbgiddy.com. These are the jumbo for the 0 fret. I get the bulk here. Guys, if you want to help support this channel, you can use the affiliate link located in the video description below, along with the promo code. And that'll really help out this channel. So y'all go to cbgiddy.com for all your cigar box guitar parts. I wanted to mention a term called variability. Variability. And what you don't want is high variability. You want low variability. And what that is just consistency from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. For example, I use the same tool on every one of these end cuts, right? I don't change and use a different clipper for this one here, and then a different clipper for this one, and then bend this one and break that one off. I use the same method for everything I do. So if I put the fret in there and then I tap it with the hammer, bang, 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 I make sure to use the same amount of taps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 taps, and then cut. Do the same thing for every fret. And the reason being is what that does is that it reduces the opportunity for something different to happen. Does that make sense? Now, so when I go to file these, grind them and file them, I'm going to use the same motion and the same tool and the same technique for every fret. So once I get them to the shape that I need, then I'm going to file them. I'm just going to use the file, and I'm going to go 1, right, for it, 2 for the next one, 3 for the next one. You know, I'm saying I'm not going to sit there and file on one and then go to the other one and then just give it just a small one. We go to the next one and then give it this angle. You know, I'm going to do the same motion, the same one for every fret. Whoop, next fret. Whoop, same. And what that does is that reduces variability. I hope that makes sense. That is kind of a trick something that I personally employ into my builds is, and that is that I use the same technique over and over and over and over again. That way, the results, the end results is the sum of all the little parts, right? And so if all the little parts are done exactly the same, you're going to have consistency and repeatability in your builds. Gosh, I hope that made sense. I know it was a bit of a rant, but I'm really talking to myself because I'm telling myself to do the same thing exactly the same over and over and over. And it's not that I need to, because I'm in the habit of it, but you know, sometimes you might think, oh, this is boring. I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. But trust me when I say this, the benefits and the results are well worth it. So, guys, give it a try. Let me know what you think. "11 more minutes." So, sanding the fret ends after you file them and dress them, really important. I like to use the 220 grit, and the reason being is because it takes off just the right amount of metal and wood, right? Because you want to polish those ends, and you don't want to take off a bunch of wood, because if you take off a bunch of wood, then those frets are going to pop out, right? So you want to concentrate on the metal, just shining them up. Then I like to take it up to like 1,000 grit. If you hit it with 1,000 grit, that's going to be so smooth on the ends. My gosh. And then the other thing I like to do is, of course, sand the whole neck with as high a grit of sandpaper as you can get. But then also steel wool. There's some magic, man, when you just rub that steel wool all over. There's just a feel that it's different than sandpaper. It's very, very desirable, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Then obviously we're going to get a damp cloth and wipe this up. But anyhow, I don't think I'm going to get to the tuners tonight. I only got just a couple more minutes, and I want to spend more time on the tuners than just 10 minutes. Anyhow, so oh yeah, and then we're going to do the top side solder burns. I'm not sure. I'm going to do solder burns or maybe some little bit of bling. So I like the bling on the top. That way it's kind of sparkles. That way if you're in a dark lit and you can look down and you don't have to strain your eyes or anything like that. It kind of gives a little bit of a glitter. So what I find that works good for that are these little golden screws. And again, I get them at the CB Getty. This one's all faded from being out in the sun. But yeah, the heads of these little screws. Let me see if I got one that's, yeah. The heads are these little tiny little Phillips heads. There's no way you're going to be able to see that, right? Tiny little Phillips head. And if you get your screwdriver in there and kind of, I don't want to say be rough with it, but just kind of score it a little bit, and then maybe even hit it with some sandpaper, then all that does is it just kind of gives it a little sparkle, little bling, a little bit of glamour, right? From a distance, when you're looking at it, you can actually, it's just easier to see, like I said, in dimly lit environments. Kind of gives it a little sparkle. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to do next. That's it for this video, guys. Seriously, be sure to check the links in the video description below, and stay variable, or don't what's the word? Reduce your variability. That's it. Reduce your variability. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.